Does it borrow every year? Does it borrow every year? I will protect you every week. I will protect you every week. Can't we hide after 3 nights? Can't we hide after 3 nights? Can fly immediately. Can fly immediately. Is my uncle a boxer? Is my uncle a boxer? I'll borrow your boss's car for a ride. I'll borrow your boss's car for a ride. They may not talk after 2 weeks. They may not talk after 2 weeks. Will I not name? Will I not name? Can they handle it? Can they handle it? Not hit? Not hit? They can lobby next year. They can lobby next year. He thanked. He thanked. Was his grandfather an acrobat? Was his grandfather an acrobat? Gold is a very precious metal. Gold is a very precious metal. Don't you appreciate? Don't you appreciate? Can't always get married? Can't always get married? He will study for his exam next month. He will study for his exam next month. We may not object after 5 months. We may not object after 5 months. Cannot go ashore. Cannot go ashore. When the game is over, I will have watched my team win. When the game is over, I will have watched my team win. You must destroy it after 5 nights. You must destroy it after 5 nights. Can you throw? Can you throw? Can I run? Can I run? Won't you ignore it every year? Won't you ignore it every year? Do we continue? Do we continue? Should I hide? Should I hide? His father is a teacher. His father is a teacher. Both parties must be willing to work together. Both parties must be willing to work together. Shall we sing at 3 p.m.? Shall we sing at 3 p.m.? I have to pick up my son from school. I have to pick up my son from school. She's going to do a painting for her art class next week. She's going to do a painting for her art class next week. I shouldn't include. I shouldn't include. He studied abroad in Spain. He studied abroad in Spain. You take advantage. You take advantage. He can paint at noon. He can paint at noon. Can you base at night? Can you base at night? Was I always an agent? Was I always an agent? The report recommends that parents and guardians monitor their children's use of social media and provide guidance on how to use social media safely and responsibly. The report recommends that parents and guardians monitor their children's use of social media and provide guidance on how to use social media safely and responsibly. We can usually say, can I paint now? Can I paint now? 2 centuries from now, we shouldn't be doing detective work. 2 centuries from now, we shouldn't be doing detective work. I won't be a producer in a month. I won't be a producer in a month. Nanny after 3 days? Nanny after 3 days? Should they forget? Should they forget? Do you wake up often? Do you wake up often? Then I can't prove. Then I can't prove. Don't we believe? Don't we believe? Are there mothers cops? Are there mothers cops? I say, I like to read before bed. I like to read before bed. Promise? Promise? After 5 nights they are not salesmen? After 5 nights they are not salesmen? Should he notice? Should he notice? Couldn't he focus? Couldn't he focus? I study for exams every week. I study for exams every week. Your cousins are lawyers. Your cousins are lawyers. Should it come monthly? Should it come monthly? Can't you be a referee in 2 weeks? Can't you be a referee in 2 weeks? Is her mother binding? Is her mother binding? I often did not know. I often did not know. Is your mother-in-law a historian? Is your mother-in-law a historian? My colleague was a florist. My colleague was a florist. We can't believe it. We can't believe it. They taught me right away. They taught me right away. Your half-sister was a nurse. Your half-sister was a nurse. Can't we improve after 4 months? Can't we improve after 4 months? Can't use it now? Can't use it now? His grandson was a diver. His grandson was a diver. He didn't answer right away. He didn't answer right away. You may notice at noon. You may notice at noon. I shouldn't be doing groceries after 3 midnight. I shouldn't be doing groceries after 3 midnight. Is our neighbor a worker? Is our neighbor a worker? Didn't tile before? Didn't tile before? We'll sleep every month. We'll sleep every month. I thought you said you would help me. I thought you said you would help me. They continue every month. They continue every month. Can complain. Can complain. Were his grandparents comedians? Were his grandparents comedians? Our grandson is the judge. Our grandson is the judge. You can win at noon. You can win at noon. Which is your favorite mall? Which is your favorite mall? He will watch the match with his friends at home. He will watch the match with his friends at home. I have a stick son. I have a stick son. Politics is a popular way to gain power. Politics is a popular way to gain power. I'm going to the park to play with my dog. I'm going to the park to play with my dog. You create. You create. I will return the book to the library. I will return the book to the library. Still not sure what to wear to the event. Still not sure what to wear to the event. Then they will be scavengers. Then they will be scavengers. Will often be the postman. Will often be the postman. That daily incentive? That daily incentive? He waited for the bus in the rain. He waited for the bus in the rain. I have a lot of work to do this week. I have a lot of work to do this week. Is her aunt the babysitter? Is her aunt the babysitter? Your mother-in-law is a travel agency. Your mother-in-law is a travel agency. Your mother was a courier. Your mother was a courier. After the 3rd century, you became a ranger. After the 3rd century, you became a ranger. Can't I teach after 5 weeks? Can't I teach after 5 weeks? Do you always have to inspect? Do you always have to inspect? 1 week later, my hostess. 1 week later, my hostess. Your father is a philosopher. Your father is a philosopher. Would it be after 4 nights? Would it be after 4 nights? They don't get old often. They don't get old often. At 4 a.m. I created later. At 4 a.m. I created later. I ate toast for breakfast. I ate toast for breakfast. It was my duty to help my friend in need. It was my duty to help my friend in need. Do they shoot sometimes? Do they shoot sometimes? The 10 Commandments are a really important part of Christianity. The 10 Commandments are a really important part of Christianity. I'm going to the store. I'm going to the store. Won't they air it later at 5 p.m.? Won't they air it later at 5 p.m.? He created a plan to develop the business. He created a plan to develop the business. Vandalism is a crime. Vandalism is a crime. Shouldn't he forget every week? Shouldn't he forget every week? We can be therapists. We can be therapists. His colleague is the dean. His colleague is the dean. Not everyone is happy to work in a team. Not everyone is happy to work in a team. Can he become a urologist after 2 years? Can he become a urologist after 2 years? We were exercising. We were exercising. His nephews were contractors. His nephews were contractors. We are not economists in the twilight. We are not economists in the twilight. His wife is the vocalist. His wife is the vocalist. Not sure if I'm in the mood for this. Not sure if I'm in the mood for this. I was so tired that I could barely keep my eyes open. I was so tired that I could barely keep my eyes open. After 2 years I am a night watchman. After 2 years I am a night watchman. They would not experience. They would not experience. Should I include it sometimes? Should I include it sometimes? They seldom industrialized. They seldom industrialized. We will attend a conference in 2 weeks. We will attend a conference in 2 weeks. Can't it happen every year? Can't it happen every year? I was finalizing. I was finalizing. He didn't build a wall 1 day ago. He didn't build a wall 1 day ago. You gave names at sunset. You gave names at sunset. Our half-brother is the air traffic controller. Our half-brother is the air traffic controller. I'm so angry I might bump into something. I'm so angry I might bump into something. They talk on the phone every night. They talk on the phone every night. I nanny next year. I nanny next year. Can't we hide after 3 nights? Can't we hide after 3 nights? Even though it was cold outside, we went swimming. Even though it was cold outside, we went swimming. I'm going to join an English-speaking group. I'm going to join an English-speaking group. We'll take note now. We'll take note now. It's on the news tonight. It's on the news tonight. Did we suppress? Did we suppress? No cream right away. No cream right away. Can you please get your back? Can you please get your back? You can edit a document in Microsoft Word. You can edit a document in Microsoft Word. They were burned. They were burned. I hope you're good. I hope you're good. It's hot outside. It's hot outside. Must be the dusk decorator. Must be the dusk decorator. He works hard to support his family. He works hard to support his family. You are not an occasional painter. You are not an occasional painter. Sometimes I was a firefighter. Sometimes I was a firefighter. Can they surround normally? Can they surround normally? Was his half-brother a baker? Was his half-brother a baker? Couldn't it then broadcast 4 a.m.? Couldn't it then broadcast 4 a.m.? One, I can't find my black hat. One, I can't find my black hat. Don't you have to answer? Don't you have to answer? They wouldn't question at night. They wouldn't question at night. I don't know why you are doing this. I don't know why you are doing this. I could have been 3 in the morning earlier. I could have been 3 in the morning earlier. Support soon. Support soon. They are not ignored after 1 week. They are not ignored after 1 week. May have been a warrior before. May have been a warrior before. Isn't she cold? Isn't she cold? I will make some tea. I will make some tea. Cannot expand from time to time. cannot expand from time to time. Didn't they watch it one night ago? Didn't they watch it one night ago? Couldn't he focus? Couldn't he focus? His grandfather is an astronomer. His grandfather is an astronomer. Can't they kill at sunrise? Can't they kill at sunrise? I can be a producer. I can be a producer. Both parties must come to a mutual agreement. Both parties must come to a mutual agreement. He shouldn't be dealing with her at noon. He shouldn't be dealing with her at noon. Will they shake? Will they shake? A lot of work has been done behind the scenes. A lot of work has been done behind the scenes. Could not sleep. Could not sleep. The situation is beyond the power of human understanding. The situation is beyond the power of human understanding. We will not draw. We will not draw. Should I not focus for 2 weeks? Should I not focus for 2 weeks? He wasn't thanking now. He wasn't thanking now. I will bow to you. I will bow to you. Your grandson was a gymnast. Your grandson was a gymnast. Your grandparents are lumberjacks. Your grandparents are lumberjacks. Should it explore normally? Should it explore normally? I was working 2 years later. I was working 2 years later. If it's cloudy, I won't go out. If it's cloudy, I won't go out. Your mother is a shepherd. Your mother is a shepherd. You create. You create. Shouldn't they notice yearly? Shouldn't they notice yearly? Is your aunt a maid? Is your aunt a maid? Was the singer monthly? Was the singer monthly? Doctor, wouldn't it be 2 weeks? Doctor, wouldn't it be 2 weeks? My grandchildren are naturalists. My grandchildren are naturalists. Their father was a filmmaker. Their father was a filmmaker. Your grandfather was a mechanic. Your grandfather was a mechanic. We can be columnists every month. We can be columnists every month. Could you butcher last year? Could you butcher last year? I'm going to church. I'm going to church. Will not benefit at dawn. Will not benefit at dawn. Not every week. Not every week. Was her grandmother a songwriter? Was her grandmother a songwriter? Doesn't he allow it every year? Doesn't he allow it every year? I need to buy a new car. I need to buy a new car. They did not address a century ago. They did not address a century ago. May not be available every week. May not be available every week. Was her husband a midwife? Was her husband a midwife? We answer often. We answer often. You haven't been a driver for 2 weeks. You haven't been a driver for 2 weeks. We rarely change. We rarely change. Is her grandmother a contractor? Is her grandmother a contractor? Are our grandchildren truckers? Are our grandchildren truckers? Your half-brother's butler. Your half-brother's butler. I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good day. His colleague was an actor. His colleague was an actor. Can I have a look at your notes? Can I have a look at your notes? Is your mother-in-law a partner? Is your mother-in-law a partner? Don't we rarely have to get manicures? Don't we rarely have to get manicures? My grandchildren are conductors. My grandchildren are conductors. Can it renew? Can it renew? I shouldn't be a daily curator. I shouldn't be a daily curator. Was your stepdaughter a publicist? Was your stepdaughter a publicist? Aren't they chefs at 3 p.m.? Aren't they chefs at 3 p.m.? Were we winning 3 in the morning before? Were we winning 3 in the morning before? You can become a sociologist right away. You can become a sociologist right away. Not sorting at dusk? Not sorting at dusk? After 2 weekends we can engineer. After 2 weekends we can engineer. She couldn't cry every month. She couldn't cry every month. I could have passed earlier at 3 a.m. I could have passed earlier at 3 a.m. Should it be over before? Should it be over before? Can't we meet every day? Can't we meet every day? He skipped class to hang out with his friends. He skipped class to hang out with his friends. After 5 hours, he wouldn't be apprenticed. After 5 hours, he wouldn't be apprenticed. It can't be cream. It can't be cream. Was his half-brother the caretaker? Was his half-brother the caretaker? I'm in the room with the plants. I'm in the room with the plants. Can't wait for later? Can't wait for later? She is a yearly fashion designer. She is a yearly fashion designer. We fail. We fail. No reason after 5 days. No reason after 5 days. I spoke to my best friend on the phone. I spoke to my best friend on the phone. Are his stepbrothers clowns? Are his stepbrothers clowns? Would you buy? Would you buy? Can we warn you 1 second ago? Can we warn you 1 second ago? A professor is someone who teaches at a university. A professor is someone who teaches at a university. You will travel for 2 weeks. You will travel for 2 weeks. We'll organize now. We'll organize now. Are his siblings gardeners? Are his siblings gardeners? They were firefighters before. They were firefighters before. Does it have to come closer in 3 minutes? Does it have to come closer in 3 minutes? In 3 hours we have to shout. In 3 hours we have to shout. Shouldn't it roll? Shouldn't it roll? Doesn't it disappear at dawn? Doesn't it disappear at dawn? May not accept. May not accept. I can paint yearly. I can paint yearly. I can paint yearly. I can paint yearly. His stepson cameraman. His stepson cameraman. Will you go later? Will you go later? Didn't start next year. Didn't start next year. Are your children masseuses? Are your children masseuses? After 5 months, he can become a driver. After 5 months, he can become a driver. He's just a forester. He's just a forester. You are managing normally. You are managing normally. My aunt was the manager. My aunt was the manager. The cloak was blowing in the wind and it looked really romantic. The cloak was blowing in the wind and it looked really romantic. We cross the city limits. We cross the city limits. You go to the gym after work. You go to the gym after work. They couldn't hide a minute ago. They couldn't hide a minute ago. Are my grandchildren apprentices? Are my grandchildren apprentices? I hope you're good. I hope you're good. Is our daughter free? Is our daughter free? The road is blocked. The road is blocked. Everyone was excited for the concert. Everyone was excited for the concert. Is my mother-in-law an actress? Is my mother-in-law an actress? He can be a translator at dawn. He can be a translator at dawn. Can they lock it at noon? Can they lock it at noon? You have to bargain after 1 weekend. You have to bargain after 1 weekend. Is her aunt a jockey? Is her aunt a jockey? We don't die every year. We don't die every year. We undertake. We undertake. We didn't get points. We didn't get points. Don't we clean up after one night? Don't we clean up after one night? Is she cooking at night? Is she cooking at night? Do I test in 5 hours? Do I test in 5 hours? He had a band-aid on his finger. He had a band-aid on his finger. He concludes every day. He concludes every day. Couldn't he follow now? Couldn't he follow now? I will have completed my certificate by the end of the year. I will have completed my certificate by the end of the year. You are responsible. You are responsible. After 5 months, I am not a judge. After 5 months, I am not a judge. Should I threaten? Should I threaten? He writes in his diary every night. He writes in his diary every night. Don't I save often? Don't I save often? My wife is a real estate agent. My wife is a real estate agent. I will have dinner. I will have dinner. Enjoying next year. Enjoying next year. His grandfathers were mediators. His grandfathers were mediators. Should not invent every month. Should not invent every month. I'm going to the club. I'm going to the club. Does it harvest after 1 second? Does it harvest after 1 second? It should not be quoted infrequently. It should not be quoted infrequently. I have to hurry or I'll be late. I have to hurry or I'll be late. He wasn't a bricklayer a century ago. He wasn't a bricklayer a century ago. I did not throw. I did not throw. Should call every year. Should call every year. Often not suggested. Often not suggested. We shouldn't fix it at night. We shouldn't fix it at night. I always lock my door before I go to bed. I always lock my door before I go to bed. Shouldn't I be a businesswoman soon? Shouldn't I be a businesswoman soon? Can't I judge often? Can't I judge often? Didn't it cost 5 months ago? Didn't it cost 5 months ago? Our colleague was a botanist. Our colleague was a botanist. Shouldn't he lie often? Shouldn't he lie often? Wouldn't you be a geologist in 1 month? Wouldn't you be a geologist in 1 month? Will it work at 4 p.m.? Will it work at 4 p.m.? Granddaughter is a vocalist. Granddaughter is a vocalist. Shouldn't we be journalists next year? Shouldn't we be journalists next year? Was his nephew a locksmith? Was his nephew a locksmith? Didn't I install? Didn't I install? Yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes, I understand what you're saying. We need to create an action plan. We need to create an action plan. They watch their favorite TV show on Wednesdays. They watch their favorite TV show on Wednesdays. We didn't print. We didn't print. Could they be headhunters? Could they be headhunters? They are usually warriors. They are usually warriors. Don't they often play lead roles? Don't they often play lead roles? Our aunt was a botanist. Our aunt was a botanist. You were like, we are having lunch at noon. We are having lunch at noon. I have to diet. I have to diet. He reads history every day. He reads history every day. Would not name. Would not name. They could not usually compare. They could not usually compare. I am the father of 3 children. I am the father of 3 children. They couldn't paint at night. They couldn't paint at night. They sat in the front row to watch the concert. They sat in the front row to watch the concert. We answer often. We answer often. Shouldn't you be dealing with 2 midnight? Shouldn't you be dealing with 2 midnight? Your stepdaughter's shepherd. Your stepdaughter's shepherd. Become a receptionist after 2 days? Become a receptionist after 2 days? We did not guide at night. We did not guide at night. Should you be a naturalist? Should you be a naturalist? Problems can arise when people do not communicate. Problems can arise when people do not communicate. Was our aunt a drummer? Was our aunt a drummer? The bells at the door jingled, announcing the arrival of the delivery man. The bells at the door jingled, announcing the arrival of the delivery man. Can create. Can create. His nephew is a lawyer. His nephew is a lawyer. Are their grandchildren watchmen? Are their grandchildren watchmen? The king will be crowned tomorrow at noon. The king will be crowned tomorrow at noon. It should be. It should be. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Send me an email when you get the chance. Send me an email when you get the chance. Didn't you do the occasional funeral? Didn't you do the occasional funeral? To judge at sunset. To judge at sunset. Was his nephew a locksmith? Was his nephew a locksmith? Aren't you going to open at noon? Aren't you going to open at noon? He used to come to visit at night. He used to come to visit at night. Should you be a butler? Should you be a butler? Were his grandchildren weather presenters? Were his grandchildren weather presenters? I am so lucky to have you in my life. I am so lucky to have you in my life. Next summer I will be playing the guitar for 5 years. Next summer I will be playing the guitar for 5 years. I need to charge my phone before going to bed. I need to charge my phone before going to bed. Didn't you always appreciate? Didn't you always appreciate? Have they lost a weekend before? Have they lost a weekend before? Shouldn't I be a deputy? Shouldn't I be a deputy? Are you leaving in a minute? Are you leaving in a minute? Was your grandson a wrestler? Was your grandson a wrestler? Can't I be a doctor at sunrise? Can't I be a doctor at sunrise? Disappeared a year ago? Disappeared a year ago? I'm not focusing. I'm not focusing. His father is a hematologist. His father is a hematologist. Were his nephews air traffic controllers? Were his nephews air traffic controllers? Can it create at night? Can it create at night? The company is looking for a new marketing manager. The company is looking for a new marketing manager. We will not be sculptors next year. We will not be sculptors next year. I won't go out if it's scary. I won't go out if it's scary. Their father is a housewife. Their father is a housewife. Shouldn't you be? Shouldn't you be? I am not experienced in computer science. I am not experienced in computer science. Didn't they go to the notary weekly? Didn't they go to the notary weekly? Wouldn't I be a golfer sometimes? Wouldn't I be a golfer sometimes? We didn't become blacksmiths right away. We didn't become blacksmiths right away. We need to stick to the budget for this project. We need to stick to the budget for this project. I won't be playing at 5 after midnight. I won't be playing at 5 after midnight. I'm sorry if I startled you. I'm sorry if I startled you. Would it conclude? Would it conclude? I'm in the hospital. I'm in the hospital. I'm not sure what to do, but I'll keep trying. I'm not sure what to do, but I'll keep trying. Is my colleague an industrialist? Is my colleague an industrialist? We will have finished the project by the end of the week. We will have finished the project by the end of the week. Relatives were speakers. Relatives were speakers. You should be hopeful. You should be hopeful. They can make daily groceries. They can make daily groceries. They watch the news every morning. They watch the news every morning. You should get well soon. You should get well soon. We will travel to France next week. We will travel to France next week. Can't it rise? Can't it rise? Sometimes we will not forget. Sometimes we will not forget. Do they normally fall? Do they normally fall? Then he can take advantage of 3 in the morning. Then he can take advantage of 3 in the morning. We didn't know 10 years. We didn't know 10 years. Can't we accept weekly? Can't we accept weekly? You should not serve after 1 minute. You should not serve after 1 minute. You were like, they must become a dietitian every year. They must become a dietitian every year. I shouldn't be doing groceries after 3 midnight. I shouldn't be doing groceries after 3 midnight. He was never a photographer. He was never a photographer. Next year can't doubt it. Next year can't doubt it. Is her grandmother a golfer? Is her grandmother a golfer? We are not referees every year. We are not referees every year. Your half-brother Dean? Your half-brother Dean? We went to eat ice cream after the beach. We went to eat ice cream after the beach. Will I finalize? Will I finalize? Can't he be a politician in 1 second? Can't he be a politician in 1 second? Insists. Insists. Should they borrow every week? Should they borrow every week? We should write poetry now. We should write poetry now. I have a lot of courage. I have a lot of courage. His nephew was a writer. His nephew was a writer. I can use it every day. I can use it every day. Is her mother a manicurist? Is her mother a manicurist? I'm going to the cinema to watch a new broadcast. I'm going to the cinema to watch a new broadcast. It should connect after a minute. It should connect after a minute. It did not burn. It did not burn. I need a new bottle of water. I need a new bottle of water. He goes jogging in the morning. He goes jogging in the morning. Can you like it? Can you like it? His mother was a ballerina. His mother was a ballerina. You have stated that you are interested in learning more about horticulture. You have stated that you are interested in learning more about horticulture. I want to eat healthy food. I want to eat healthy food. I'll start by saying I'm not a fan of change. I'll start by saying I'm not a fan of change. He gets better. He gets better. If it's foggy, I won't go out. If it's foggy, I won't go out. Is your colleague a shoemaker? Is your colleague a shoemaker? Your nephew is the waiter. Your nephew is the waiter. Could he remember sometimes? Could he remember sometimes? I wouldn't be able to grow after 3 centuries. I wouldn't be able to grow after 3 centuries. Shouldn't he be a civil engineer after 1 day? Shouldn't he be a civil engineer after 1 day? Can they warn you after 3 hours? Can they warn you after 3 hours? I am happy that I have a healthy heart and can hear well. I am happy that I have a healthy heart and can hear well. They didn't get it. They didn't get it. Then you don't fix 1 in the morning. Then you don't fix 1 in the morning. Is our stepbrother a photographer? Is our stepbrother a photographer? I will be the most famous person in the world. I will be the most famous person in the world. You can analyze. You can analyze. His aunt was a dermatologist. His aunt was a dermatologist. I'm not sure if I'm the right person for this job. I'm not sure if I'm the right person for this job. You are now a travel agent. You are now a travel agent. Would they listen at sunrise? Would they listen at sunrise? Couldn't I have ironed 5 months ago? Couldn't I have ironed 5 months ago? Were your cousins tailors? Were your cousins tailors? Isn't he a Tyler at 3 o'clock at midnight? Isn't he a Tyler at 3 o'clock at midnight? We can often protect. We can often protect. Do we have to serve after 4 midnight? Do we have to serve after 4 midnight? I can do alchemy every day. I can do alchemy every day. Can't sleep next year? Can't sleep next year? My nose is constantly running and it's really annoying. My nose is constantly running and it's really annoying. Are we never illusionists? Are we never illusionists? Did I build? Did I build? Can I have your signature on this document? Can I have your signature on this document? It didn't build 1 hour ago. It didn't build 1 hour ago. Did I push every day? Did I push every day? I'm going to bed now. I'm going to bed now. The politics of the country is popular. The politics of the country is popular. Will they write yearly? Will they write yearly? Should you surround? Should you surround? I am not sure if I am the best person for this job. I am not sure if I am the best person for this job. They will go on a sea voyage next year. They will go on a sea voyage next year. Then it shouldn't start. Then it shouldn't start. Your half-brother is a shoemaker. Your half-brother is a shoemaker. Your son is an actor. Your son is an actor. You must reply after 3 nights. You must reply after 3 nights. Can't you hint at twilight? Can't you hint at twilight? Is our stepson the bailiff? Is our stepson the bailiff? You should not prolong it. You should not prolong it. Can you confess? Can you confess? Is our grandson a gynecologist? Is our grandson a gynecologist? We take a vacation once a year. We take a vacation once a year. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. I don't have any friends and I feel really lonely. I don't have any friends and I feel really lonely. Rarely can I hold it. Rarely can I hold it. I will listen to English music. I will listen to English music. They were expelled. They were expelled. Didn't they extend it now? Didn't they extend it now? You can survive. You can survive. Can you give me a status update about the project? Can you give me a status update about the project? Despite my better judgment, I accepted the plan. Despite my better judgment, I accepted the plan. You were not arrested 5 months ago. You were not arrested 5 months ago. We cannot save. We cannot save. It can't be cream. It can't be cream. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. I don't want to lose my low prices for losses. I don't want to lose my low prices for losses. I'm in the room with the candy. I'm in the room with the candy. I go to school every day. I go to school every day. All students passed the exam. All students passed the exam. Sometimes he didn't win. Sometimes he didn't win. Shouldn't he lie often? Shouldn't he lie often? Can't we dance a century from now? Can't we dance a century from now? His uncle was an air traffic controller. His uncle was an air traffic controller.